afternoon, traders, and welcome to the Trading Hub. My name's James, and I'm the Honest Trader. I will tell you when I've won a trade. I'll tell you when I lose a trade. You know, that's the most important thing, because we've got to make sure we have more winners than we have losers. Simple as that, really. And the winners are bigger than the losers, because you will have losing trades. It's quite simple. That's just the nature of the game with trading. You can't win every single one, but the key is to make sure that you have bigger wins than losses. Anyway. Okay, so lots of stuff going on with the elections at the moment in the US.
And then this year, the Republicans lost the Senate because the Trump-backed candidates for the Senate races were rejected by their voters. That's a three-time loser. And I'd like to say that the Republican Party is ready to move on from somebody who's been for this party a three-time loser.
Okay, yes, so we've got 14 minutes to the bell. Now, generally, with an election, stocks tend to rise over a period of time. So, with that in mind, it's quite a few stocks I want to have a look at. Let's have a look at the markets and see what's going on in terms of, oh, there you go, Nasdaq soars after soft inflation data boosts bulls market sprout. So CPI, US producers prices cooled by the more than forecasted heels of CPI. So, okay, so where are we? Right, let's have a look at the news. Forex Factory. We are Tuesday, the 15th of November, 2022. Now, so what we got? Okay, this morning obviously we had some positive news for the pound. Average earnings index quarterly. However, unemployment rate was down, even though it's not a red, still affects things. So earlier on we had Empire State Manufacturing Index 4.5. Now it's forecast to be minus 6.1, so that's very positive. But then PPI is down 0.2%. Core PPI as well is forecast to be 0.3%. It's actually 0%. Okay, and we got some more US news today. Nothing else red today, however. That's a good sign in terms of what you're going to trade, because there's nothing. If you're trading US dollar, or you're trading against the US dollar, then it's obviously you want a calm afternoon, really, in the UK, or a calm day in the US. So these effects here, which happened 45 minutes ago, these effects of the news should be seen in the charts already. So let's move on to our current trades that we are running at the moment. So now gold, obviously we've had a lot of gold rallying in the last few weeks. Big pump on gold. Same as silver. Now I did quite well out of gold and silver last week. Did you get in? Okay, so what I'm waiting for now, obviously, I'm waiting for more of a pullback on silver. Now, in my previous video, I have placed these rules into place for a 15-minute trade. So higher highs on the 15-minute chart, lower test bar, to be on the level MACD average cross, ideally at the top, then at the bottom to identify our position. So we didn't really get that. Didn't really get that movement on the MACD, but what you can see is it's been very bullish anyway. So we've got a nice trend on the 4-hour happening there. So gold and silver don't normally trend. They normally go sideways and then they shoot up or they shoot down. But you know, this is still broken the high, still closed on the 4-hour chart above this high here. So we had a big run last week. This was the 3rd of November, around here. I didn't quite get in there. I got in, not sure exactly where I got in. Let's have a look on there. So, okay, so we're watching and we're waiting gold and silver. I mean, silver ideally, I mean, it's trending quite nicely. It's a bit more bullish than it is bearish, obviously, because you've got some seriously big 4-hour bars here, and then it's sort of retraced a bit, and then same again, and then sort of faffed around here, and then it's gone up, and then it's pulled back a bit more. So we might be in for a slightly larger pullback because you can see the momentum here. You know, the gap between this high here and this high here is big. The gap between this high here and this high here is also quite big. But the gap between this high and this high is still creating higher highs. So, and it's closed above the previous close. But it might be running out a bit of steam on the 4-hour chart. So in terms of the daily chart, we might be in for a daily pullback, you see. So you couldn't really draw the cycles too much on here. Not really cycles yet, but let's just assume that is a cycle. Okay, I mean it is a cycle, but it's just not really on the daily chart. So what we're looking for is if we're aiming for the price to come back down a bit before we get in, or before we look at getting in on the 4-hour chart, just see what happens, because you know you've got a lot of green bars going up on silver here, and I want to see what happens on the daily chart before we look at going in again. Okay, so what we could do is use a Fibonacci retracement as a bit of a guide. Okay, so I'm going to put my Fibonacci retracement here, and I'm going to look for, see this level, that was exactly on the 38.2% level. Okay, so I'm going to leave that there again. So I would like to see a bit of a pullback on the daily chart before I go back in on silver. So let's draw for a box. So, you know, we've got the 23% here, we've got 38.2% here, we've got the 50% here. So, and this is purely technical, by the way, purely technical analysis, because we've got all these moving averages as well coming up here as well on the daily. So they're starting to, okay, that one is 100, that should be in a pink potentially. I've done it in gold because we're doing some analysis on the bots that we're developing at the moment, so that's why that news will come anyway in the future. So right, okay, let's put that as pink, okay, and then the 200 up here. So as long as I'm getting those three in order, then that's going to give me a confirmation that we're going in that direction. You know, we've got this golden cross here, but I'd like to see a bit more of a pullback, maybe to here. Let's do it. That zone there, and then once this is pulled back on the daily chart, then we can zoom back into the 4 hour. Zoom back into the 4 hour in this zone here, and then we're looking for price action. We're looking for, and then maybe we'll zoom in on again to like a 15-minute chart and see what's going on there. Always essential to look at the higher time frames to understand the direction of the trend. One of the fundamental rules of trading is to look at the overall picture. You know, you could zoom in here onto the 1 minute chart and say, oh, yeah, well, it's going sideways actually. You could say, oh, look at the level there, you could go in there, and you get called out because that's the 1 minute chart. You know, for the 1 minute, really, we'll be looking at at least the 1 hour to start with. Look at where the 1 hour is. So if the 1 hour does come back to here, we could possibly get in at the 1 minute. But it's got to have a short target, because if the price does come down to here, for example, this area, and then we're looking for price action, and then if it does boost up here, it might be on its way down to do this sort of pattern. It might, who knows, it might break this low here, because, you know, this box is what we just drawn on. There's a possibility the price will come back down to this 20.6 to 8 to 9, 21 region. So it could be doing something like this. We'll leave this drawn on here anyway, and we'll see what happens. And then we get into the buy zone here. So, you know, at the end of the day, yes, we could go in there, but it'd be better to wait until we're here, and then we get in here, then we've got more of a maximum profit. You know, because here we might only be able to get like a little bit of profit. If it does this sort of pattern, you see, this is the hourly chart. So if it does do this pattern, there might be a bit of profit in there, but there might not be enough. So that's silver, and the same with gold, same sort of thing. You know, it's been so bullish recently, and look, I mean, it's almost vertical, you know, and that's great. So I'm a mainly gold trader, gold and silver, metals, commodities. So if this bar does technically end or close like this, I mean at the moment, if that closed now, it's a beautiful, beautiful high test bar, and it's above the 200-day moving average. So that would be really nice to see that close tonight, because that confirms a lot technically. Now obviously the reason for this is because of the possibility that interest rates are going to start to ease off in the increase later on, possibly as early as December, who knows, but there's indications about the interest rates assisting with the inflation levels. So we have to wait and see on that, but gold and silver fundamentally driven, looking really good, really bullish, really positive. Oil, right, so the bell's just gone. Okay, so oil, we are waiting for a top out here at $100, and then we're going to short oil as far as we can go. That's the plan. Stocks, let's have a look at these stocks that I've got lined up. Right. Apple, okay, so we've got a higher open than the previous close. Apple, that's the daily chart, so it's opened above the 200-day moving average. So technically, very bullish on Apple, but we might be late, too late I think. Home Depot, okay, we profited out of Home Depot to here before. Could have got more out of it, but I got out when I felt the time was right. Okay, it's doing well. I mean, we could have been, really, when did this open? Okay, 3 minutes ago. In the last 3 minutes, it has done very well. So normally when you get a gap down, it's going to close a gap. I say normally, sometimes. Okay, so wait on that, because I'm not convinced this is gapped up as well. Okay, Tesla. Did see something earlier about Tesla and Bitcoin. I didn't read it, but it's flashed up somewhere, so let's have a look. So, obviously if you follow crypto, we had a big FTX issue last week. Recovery fund. So, what's this recovery fund? Yeah. I mean, the bottom line is with crypto, you know, if you can invest at a low price, then great. But just be careful, because you know we've seen. I mean, I've been in crypto for about nine years now, and I've been through a number of cycles. If you look at, I mean, the cycles really are in Bitcoin. So if we go on the weekly chart here. See, this was a lunar situation. So, I mean, you see this peak here, very similar to this peak, but then obviously it was different this time round. We were expecting a blow off top, but then it didn't really. I mean, this was a run that didn't actually happen. That everyone's expecting December, is it? No, it's March, April. Okay, so really, we did get obviously the all-time highs. But sold most of my, I didn't really have that much Bitcoin anyway, but mainly Ethereum. So the charts are virtually identical. You can almost overlay them. But then if you go into the others, like the altcoins like Solana and Cardano, similar sort of charts, but my advice really with crypto is obviously never put in more than you can afford to lose. That's rule number one, because you've got to expect to lose what you put in, basically. It's pure luck. You can't really use technicals. You know, the fundamental side, the fundamental side of things with obviously the lunar crash and the UST, then that has driven the latest big crash. But I mean, it's lunar classic. I mean, I created this after the lunar classic, so. So, when it comes to crypto, could be in a buy zone. I'm not buying. Sold all my Ethereum. Well, I sold in probably about here. I sold quite a bit here. Sold probably some more here. I didn't sell at the top, which I did, but I didn't. I mean, really, all you have to do technically is look at this weekly chart. How strong is this weekly doji here? That's right at the top. This test bar here, right at the top. So got to remember with crypto, it's so volatile. It can move. Well, we saw 90% drops in quite a few cryptos around April, May time. Now, obviously, there's a reason for that, big reason, and we've got to look at these prices, and I mean, I'm sorry to hear if some of you got stuck into Ethereum or Bitcoin up right at the top. Same with altcoins, but I'm still in some of them from higher levels. But the things with crypto, you're buying it, you're holding it, you own it, and you might as well hang on to it, because if you follow that first rule of only putting in what you can afford to lose, then expect to lose it, but there's a possibility it might go back up again. And yeah, I do think, I'm very bullish long term or mid to long term on all crypto. You could look at this technically and you could say Ripple's bounced off this level, company has bounced off this level and it's going back up again. This is probably why we've got this green bar here on this week. But the bottom line is, the reason crypto's starting to go back up a little bit now is because it's gone down so far. Bitcoin is right down at $17,000. Look at that. Okay, that was obviously FTX crash, which we mentioned earlier. Okay. So, we've got no more news today. Let's go back to the charts and go back to these stocks that I'm looking at. So we've looked at Apple. It's gone too far to get in. Obviously, it's gapped up. So you could say there's momentum there. And it might continue going up. But the way I like to analyse this is if you imagine you're reaching up to the ceiling, like this gap here. You're reaching up to the ceiling, you can't really keep your arm up forever. So maybe this price will retract a bit and then we can get in a bit lower. But the reason it's normally gapped up like this is because there's been a lot of pre-market trading. Now, pre-market trading has been taking place, and you think about it logically. Okay, it's going red now. So you think about it, right? The price closed yesterday, 14th, so we're on 15th, yeah. So the price closed on the 14th. And then the pre-market trading was taking place. It was bought. I mean, it's a nice pullback anyway. It's been bought, it's gone up. And then the traders here, potentially, who have bought and pushed the price up here, might be taking their profits. And then that will cause the price to drop again. So we'll see. We'll just watch that for a bit. So Home Depot, okay, so about a few minutes ago, at the beginning of this video, we looked at Home Depot and we said, right, okay, well, looking very, very strong. However, it's just it was doing that while we were looking at it, and now it's done that. So good job we didn't get in there. You see, with these stocks, it's all about buying at a low cost. I mean, look at that gap. So really, S&P, it's a short. Okay, it's the ETF Future Trust. Tesla. Okay, following the chart, so it has opened higher. You see, when we see this news in here, stocks roar after the latest inflation data. Yeah, great, but it's a bit late. I mean, that was updated 7 minutes ago. It's a bit late for that. You know, you need to be in before. And the way to look at it is, there's no point in getting on the train as the train's leaving the station. You know, if the train is gone, it's gone. You want to be getting on the train at the station. But the problem is, you don't know which way the train's going to go. Is it going to go up or is it going to go down? So you have to use indicators, you have to use fundamentals, reasons why it might go that way. More chance of it going up than it is going down, or more chance of it going down than it is up. Whatever the fundamentals and the technicals say. So Amazon, again, is gapped up, you see, but it's retracing. Meta. Now Meta, I mean, oh, Meta. Is this the same Meta chart that we were looking at last week? It is. So Meta is just falling off the edge of a cliff because of the metaverse situation. Okay. Netflix, again, might have got in yesterday but didn't. The thing is, with the news at the moment, the market's so volatile. You know, we didn't know that that news was going to come out and be red PPI here. I didn't know that. Now Coinbase, I mean, Coinbase. I no longer have a Coinbase account. It was too complicated getting that off. But so driven by the price of crypto. Google, okay, Google's just done that. PayPal. Now, we were talking earlier on about zooming out of a chart. Now, so look at where PayPal started. $37, and it went up gradually. To 24th February. Then obviously it probably had a profit taken or something. And then it soared and went right all the way up to $308 or so. And then it's just come all the way back down again. And because it's come all the way back down, you see here, eventually, there's always going to be a buyer down there. Always going to be a buyer down, right down the bottom. And the other way to look at it as well, it's always going to be a seller up the top. But we are at the bottom, you see. Well, we're not at the bottom because we're at $90, but we are in that zone. We are in, or we were in that zone. We've come out of it now. But PayPal, I'm liking this chart for stocks more than anything. So I'm just looking at my silver chart over there actually. Like I mentioned earlier about silver. You see, it might just follow this trend, or it might come down, it might go up. No one really knows, but at the end of the day, I want to be buying in this area here. Let's see what happens anyway on silver. So at the moment, we've got PayPal. That's the main one on our watch list. Because of where it is on the chart. Now Starbucks. Same sort of thing, but it's a bit late. But you never know, we might get a low profit taking and then a lower price again. So I'm just going to keep it there. My gold is suddenly down to 1769. Now it's 1785, highest in a very, very long time. So that's good. Now we want to see that pullback, we want to see the profit taking, we want to see the pullback, and we want to see stability in the price, and then we can look at going back in. And that's gold and silver. So look at that. Technically, okay, we're probably not going to see a close above the 200-day moving average. I've been on 35 minutes. Okay. So, yeah, let's just put okay, this is purely based on technicals, but there is a level there. At 17.25, so again, 17.25 is an interesting price because it's 17.25. 1700 obviously is a more interesting price. The thing is, all this movement on gold, I mean, at some point it's got to pull back. It's going in this direction, that's the main thing. It's because the dollar is probably pulling back up a bit, yeah. So obviously I drew this on the dollar before. This is the dollar index, the dollar on its own. So I was expecting the possibility of another pullback up to here, but we only got up to here, and then maybe another drop. So maybe we're going to have that. Let's move that down here. So maybe we have that move next. With the drop here. Natural gas. Okay, so natural gas. I'm long and I'm short natural gas. Both. I'm buying and I'm selling at the same time. Now don't try that. Messes with your head. But the reason I'm selling is because I was in a contract rollover quite some time ago. And you know, being honest, it was a mistake, but it was recommended to me by my broker, and it's only a mistake, I suppose, when I close the trades and lose, because shorting down here is just, and the problem is my broker, the contract with my broker was different in price to the contracts of this current broker here. So here we're on capital.com, okay, another broker I'm with, but there's no price gap here. So what we're expecting was we short here, we get rewarded for the price, the positive swap, which is the commission, the payment, the fee, if you like. So basically they gave me a chunk of money, but then my trades would have been in a negative of the same amount of money, so in effect break even here, and then the price was expected to retract back down to the original price it was on the previous contract back here. But because of natural gas shortage, etc., it rallied, and it's almost come back to my break even is probably about here actually. So getting close. Oh no, maybe that's that line actually I've written on, drawn on here. So yeah, I'm waiting for this. But I am overall mid to long term bullish on natural gas. So what I want to happen, I want the price to come into here. I then will get out with some profit on my short trades, and then I will then switch my mentality and buy more, even though I'm already in some buy trades which are about break even at the moment anyway. So that's natural gas. My Virgin Galactic. See a bit of gap up here, and then it's the red bar. Okay, I need to clean this up a bit. So we're waiting on oil, obviously, waiting for a much higher price. You can see here how technicals don't work with fundamental, because I mean there's indecision here. The price has then gone up and then it's come right back down below the price it was 3 days ago, or end of last week. Okay. Okay, so Abbott Labs. Again, we are we're quite low at $100, but we're not low enough. Because I mean, look at the way it's gone up that. Zoom out here. It's right back to 2011, this chart. So maybe we will see a bit more of a drop, and that's potentially, if we are going to see a drop down to here, that's the sort of space I want to be looking at getting in potentially. So I'm going to draw a box there. Okay. So the main one really that I'm watching and I'm getting ready for is PayPal. But I want to see what happens really over the next 24 hours on this price with PayPal. Ideally I want to be buying as close as possible to this box. We shall see what happens with that one. Okay, so let's run through really quickly again. But Apple, Home Depot, they've all gapped up. See, Home Depot, so it's quite an expensive stock to see, so it's Tesla. Quite a nice space down there for Tesla, wasn't it? Was it? No. I want to see some Tesla down here maybe. If we see some Tesla coming down to, Tesla price coming down to 150-ish, that's where I'm interested. Amazon, I was looking at buying Amazon there. I didn't. Okay. Well, they would have been okay if I got out here, but I did buy some back somewhere, I can't remember where it was, but I did buy some before, a few months ago. So I've got torrential rain taking place outside, even though it was sunny 5 minutes ago. Weird. So that's why Tesla's. The Netflix, again, that is. Okay. So really, it's just a case of keeping an eye on these at the moment. I mean, Coinbase is low, it is cheap. I'm not buying any more. Did get caught out on Coinbase. I'm still in some of these trades. I did quite well out of Coinbase about a year ago, I think it was, and I bought some more, and then we saw the tank. So obviously it follows the same as crypto, Bitcoin, Ethereum. Yeah, technically we're on a level. Fundamentally, could Bitcoin come lower? It could. I mean, we are pretty low. We are pretty low. But we might just, I mean, if you look at this, right? See, we got continuous bounces on these levels. So it was sort of ranging, breaking out, failed, came back down, bounced off that level, ranging, sort of took off, got going, but you know, normally Bitcoin goes almost vertical. I mean, look at that. When it goes, that's when it came down vertically. But when it goes up, it does the same thing. So, because this is a bear market there, but if you look at the price when it was going up, you can see all these green bars here, and then you stretch it out even more, and it is almost going up vertical at times. I mean, look at that bar, huge 4-hour bar there, it's bigger. And that's the trouble with looking at your phone as well. If you've got like a chart on your phone, that's why I recommend never to trade on your phone. Just look at things on your phone, because you know you can't really get a full. The phone is that shape. You know, you think about it, that shape. So you're stretching out the bars. You know, so if you are using your phone, turn it on its side. But you see these big bars here, big green bars. We haven't got those sort of green bars. Oh God, where is it? We haven't got the big green bars here that we had previously. We had a few here, but not really. And it's gone. But we have big red bars. So Next level is probably 10,000 approximately. This is dollars. I don't know. And that's the thing, no one knows. I mean, you know, what might happen. People might just, it might get going a bit and then it'll fail and then it'll come lower. Or it might carry on going up, or it might go down, or it might just stay here for the next year or two. I think really people like Elon Musk are going to be sort of so pro Bitcoin because they've got so much of it, you know, and that's going to sort of help with the price. But unfortunately, people lost confidence in crypto at the moment. Lost confidence because a lot of people got stuck or caught out at the top, and it was this waterfall. There's a bloody waterfall. It is a bloodbath waterfall. I mean, really, look at that. Even when you got to here and you think, oh yes, it's starting to go back up, and people probably started buying back in, and then bang. And that's why it's best to get in and out, in and out. Okay. So what we'll do anyway with those stocks, we'll come back and have another look at those stocks tomorrow, see where they are, because they might be in a good position. Let's just have a look at those stocks up on the screen again, just so you've got them. Okay, so those stocks are the ones we are looking at. We are waiting. What news have we got for the rest of the week? Tomorrow, Australian dollar, we have CAD CPI data, and we have core retail sales with the dollar. So big news again tomorrow for the dollar. Let's see what happens then. I'm trying to see. I've got a meeting. Okay, I'm going to change it. Okay, well, thank you guys. Thanks for joining. My name's James. I'm the honest trader, and I'll tell you the truth. Make sure you join the next session. Thank you very much.